UFO investigative journalist George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell released a brand new UFO photo on their Weaponized Podcast. Let's take a closer look, and I've got a little bit of backstory on this particular UFO event. Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Vetted. Let's jump in. If you haven't already, hit that like button. That helps us out a lot. And please leave your comments down below of what you guys think of this UFO photo. Very curious what y'all think. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, guys. We are growing fast, so jump on board. All right, so yeah, there's a UFO story out of Syria, basically, and they've got, we're going to hear about the story, but I've also got a little backstory, okay, of where this was first mentioned. Okay, I made a video about a month ago of Jeremy Corbell. He said he had an image of the U.S. military attempting to shoot down a UFO. And he's talking about Syria. And then what happens? A month later, boom, we get this photo. It's out of Syria. So I don't know if it's the same one, but I think it is. And I'll play both clips. So again, as always, I'll put links to everything in the description. But let's jump in so we can see this photo, y'all.
Important to emphasize this, that multiple nations in that region are detecting these things. We know Russia and Syria have detected them because Russia and Syria have shot at them. We know that the Royal Air Force Typhoon shot at it, presumably knocked it out of the sky, but nobody went and go to collect whatever records there might be. We know that the U.S. military saw two of these things at the same time. One of them that the Royal Air Force went after, the other one just zipped away and took off and disappeared.
Right, so this image which we'll show, it's the one that was actually historically fired upon, which is called like a terrorist drone. It's really weird looking, whatever it is, but it is, again, it is classified as UAP within the intelligence community. This is not that is identified. And so should we show the image?
Yeah, let's see this drone.
Really bizarre.
Let's take a look at it.
Okay, so I was making a joke and saying it looks like Kermit the Frog, but we call it the Syria Dome UAP, and whatever this device is, there were two of them.
December 14th, 2021. So basically the story is, that this UFO, got reported in the Royal Air Force, in the UK. It got identified, I guess you could say, as a drone. Like that's what they were calling it, a drone, right? To the press, to everybody, a drone. But internally, they were calling it a UAP, right? So to the public, drone. Privately, UAP or UFO, right? So that's kind of some of the drama behind it here. And this is the photo, guys. That's it. That's the photo. That's the UFO photo. I don't know about y'all, but first impressions, just being honest, I don't see anything. Looks like a blob. Looks like a blob of nothing. There's something here, right? Maybe there's some sort of disc-shaped dome, as they're calling it, right? The Syria Dome UAP. But honestly, let's be real. You can't tell anything from this. And if you notice these numbers and this sort of line, and this seems to be taken from some sort of tracking, right, system. And you could tell it's only like the top left portion of the picture. Right, so I guarantee you this picture is quite large, and there's just one little portion up at the top. That's my guess based on this. Or a quarter of the image, right? Like it's just one little part of the image. It's not the entire full original image. And it just doesn't look like anything. I don't know. I don't see anything. Do y'all see anything from this image? Let's hear more of the story.
Right. And by the time the Royal Air Force got up and caught up with them, and they fired a ASRAAM missile, which is, I think he uses heat-seeking.
So they fired a heat-seeking missile at this thing. All right. Trying to shoot it down.
The other one...
Advanced short-range air-to-air missile.
Advanced short-range air-to-air missile. So what happens is by the time they catch up with this pair that were there under intelligent control, this other one took off. It wasn't even in the vicinity. They did report that in the initial reports that there were 2 of them, but this is the one that was fired upon. Now, we don't know if...
So 2 UAPs, right? Or drones or whatever they're calling them. But internally, remember, they're calling it, the Royal Air Force out of the UK is calling it a UFO. And there's 2 of them. One of them takes off. The other is there. They fire it with a heat-seeking missile.
was hit. We don't know if it hit the ground. But again, I just want to drive home. This is the public's being told one thing. This is classified as a UAP within our government and within intelligence circles. So whatever it is, the public is not getting.
Well, I've seen a lot of images of drones, modern drones, military drones, private drones. I don't recall ever seeing a drone that looked like that. It looks like a mushroom cloud almost.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre. Yeah, it's got the. I mean, look, it's a. One of these fighter planes, and look, I'm sure there's video out there.
Oh well, the public will probably see it, as given all the transparency there is now.
So let me read you a couple things that I think are.
Did George just make a joke? Did George Knapp just make a joke? I think he did. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, what are we supposed to do with this photo?
Important for the public to know. For the past 15 years in CENTCOM, U.S. forces have tracked unidentified airborne objects, also defined as unidentified aerial phenomenon, traveling in the vicinity of, bases, I'll say. No actors claimed ownership of these UAP. All jamming directed at UAP, assessed unsuccessful, and that we have not recovered a UAP in this time frame or in this area to date. Now, I'm really makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. We haven't recovered anything, and that's a real issue. But we know it was testified to in Congress that we have these secret recovery programs.
So I don't know. What do y'all think of the photo? Let's let me get it up on the screen one last time. There it is. Let's see.
Private drones. I don't.
Where's that photo at? Come on, Jim. There we go. Yeah, y'all. There it is. That's the photo. So this is what I think he was. And again, I'll put a link to this so you guys can watch the full episode of Weaponized, where they talk a little bit more about, the situation or whatever. 41-minute podcast. I'll put a link to it so you can check it out. This is what I want to jump into real quick. A little backstory on this image of this UFO in Syria. I made a video, okay? I'll put a link to this as well. It's called Jeremy Corbell Has Image of U.S. Military Attempting to Shoot Down UFO. That's the title. And this is, he's on another podcast, okay? Dave Foley's podcast. And he tells this story. Let's listen to him.
Is in the congressional hearing, they said, have you ever tried to communicate with these craft? Have there ever been shoot downs? And I don't remember the exact words, but it was unanimously no, right?
All right, so real quick, here's the question. This took me a long time to find, surprisingly. Yeah, this was a lot to go through to find this.
Now, was the aircraft that you were flying, was it armed?
No, never felt threatened at all.
If the aircraft was armed, do you believe that your aircraft or any aircraft in possession of the United States could have shot the Tic Tac down?
I'd say no, just on the performance, it would just left in a split second.
It looks like that we have a problem here that needs further investigation.
Yes.
So I believe that's the clip that Jeremy Corbell is referencing. That's all I could find about shoot downs in the hearing. So I think that's what he's referencing. Anyway, let's continue his clip. Again, I'll put links to all of this, okay, so you guys can check it out yourself. Okay, Patrick.
Fire upon UFOs was kind of the point. That's a lie. That is a straight up lie.
Here, let's start this over.
Is in the congressional hearing, they said, have you ever tried to communicate with these craft? Have there ever been shoot downs? And I don't remember the exact words, but it was unanimously no, right? We don't fire upon UFOs was kind of the point. That's a lie. That is a straight up lie. And I will be providing with George direct evidence of shoot downs or shoot down attempts. And the reason I can do that is because I have an image of one that we try to shoot down with all the specific information that I have vetted and verified. And if people know in the classified realm where to look, they're going to find it. So I'm going to make sure make sure that that information is out so people can look at it. And I'm going to make sure Congress and Senate knows about it, because we do fire upon these unknowns, not for the reasons you think, but we do. And I'll give you a little brief slice here. When
15 questions.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Here's just a real brief little slice here, which is that in combat zones right now, we have anomalous objects or UFOs, and what happens is we'll be looking at them, debating whether or not to fire upon them. Now, we only fire upon them if they're within 27 to 35, whatever, miles from ground troops. Then it's an automatic shoot at it, because we don't know. If it appears to have a payload is another huge reason. So if it appears like it could be carrying something, it could be dangerous. Because, you could use like a drone over a fence and have a bomb and blow people up. But in the air, it's the same kind of thing. You want things dropping on you. So with these objects, they don't just fire upon UFOs, but when they come within a certain range to ground troops, now also if they look like they're carrying a payload. But the odd thing is, we saw Russia and Syria firing upon the same assets that we were debating fire upon, or sometimes we do fire upon. So we now know, and it's actually written really clearly in certain documents, that these are not ours, these are not theirs, and we're worried about crossfire. Whose are they? So that's the question. So we do fire upon what we would consider UFOs, unidentified craft that have pretty extreme movements. I'm not saying we hit them. We don't have like ground recovery crews. That's the other thing. We can't ever really validate if we've hit something. We don't have a ground recovery crew in some of these areas I'm talking about, which is a big problem.
So I don't know. What do y'all think? That's very interesting. So that this has to be the image he's talking about, right? That he's released. Now, again, in that clip, he says like the image contains proof that they tried to shoot it down. But I don't know. From this image, I don't see anything that shows that they tried to shoot it down. Like, I guess I don't know what I was thinking, like a missile in the image, heading towards the UAP. I mean, you can't tell anything from this image. You can't tell what this is, what's going on. Nothing, right? So, but we do have the story, right? But that's it. So basically, again, right, just to sum it up, the Royal Air Force, 2 UAPs, right? They don't know what it is. One takes off, the other stays, and they try to fire at it with a heat-seeking missile. And then internally, they do classify it as a UAP. They don't know what happened and what that was. But publicly, they say it was drones, right? So how often does that happen? Probably, right? Like the balloons, Chinese spy balloons, right? They say it's one thing, but internally they say something else. Roswell, I mean, we could go down the list, right? So I don't know. What do y'all think of this image? I mean, look, it is disappointing. It's a little disappointing in the sense that I guess we just expect more, but is that on us? Is that our fault? Or should we expect more of these releases, right? When people say they're going to release something and then we get this. Is that okay? Should we should our expectations be higher? Should we want clearer images and otherwise, what's the point of releasing this? I'm not sure. What does it do? Can't see anything. There's nothing here to see. I mean, anyone claiming to see an object in this and be able to define it, I just don't see how that's possible. But anyway, yeah, I think this is a part of a larger image, in my opinion. And yeah, we cannot tell what this is, right? What's this white part? Is this connected to this? Right? It's kind of getting lost in the numbers and lettering, but this black part underneath, that's interesting. So, I don't know. Can't wait to read all the comments. All right, y'all. This is Patrick with Vetted. As always, let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We publish a new video every day at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's in the U.S. Yeah, we realize it's a global phenomenon. So hi to all my global, watchers, viewers of the channel: Australia, Germany, Italy, England, Canada, South America. We got them everywhere. Asia. Thank y'all so much. So we'll see you on the next video, y'all. All right. Remember, every day's a gift. I'm Patrick with Vetted.